Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here, and welcome back to another crypto video. It's been a really interesting day, not gonna lie to you. A lot of stuff has happened in the crypto space here. We have a lot of news to cover in this video too. But first, my question of today is, where are you guys watching this video from? Right now, I'm recording again from the Netherlands. It's pretty damn hot in here too. A couple of you guys were commenting, stop complaining about the Dubai weather, you went there yourself. It's true, but it's hot here too, so I mean, maybe I'm just complaining about the heat. Let me know what you guys are watching from. I always find it fun to read through that. And let's start off by this tweet right here from Whale Alert. 135,000 Ethereum was just sent. And don't get me wrong, this is not a unique transfer. If you check through Whale Alert's list here, you'll find so ridiculously many 100 million, 80 million, I guess 160 million, all these types of Ethereum transfers, they're there, right? There's a ton of them out there. However, it just kind of caught me off guard just to realize how much money is being sent. And another more important question, however, here, for example, 80 million, 88 million, a more important question becomes, what did they actually pay for that? I mean, you can actually check everything out yourself. You go to Whale Alert here, you can actually go a little bit further as well. Go, for example, and check out the hash if you want to. What you'll notice is how much they sent or how much they're using. In this case here, transaction action, you're seeing of protocol V2. What you're seeing here is the transaction fee of $28. This, on its own, might not to you sound like a lot. It might be like, Dusty, to send 350 million, you just spend $28. That's easy. It's a principle type of thing, in my opinion. The fact that what happened right here cost more than 1 cent is a really big issue. Why? Because it's money being wasted. You might say, Dusty, once for Ethereum's proof of work, its money is never wasted, yada, yada, yada. I don't care whatever way you want to look at it from. I personally think you as an individual should always look to make it as cheap as possible. And I mean, why use a system that costs so ridiculously much? In this specific case here, okay, if you're locking up some money into some contracts, there's usually no way around it, right? But it's about the idea. Moving money around the world is so ridiculously expensive. This transfer, $350 million, would have taken thousands and thousands, maybe $1 million, maybe more in the real world. Okay, I'm not sure if it would take $1 million, but it would take a lot, right? $1 million, for example, is a really, really small fee still, right? And it's not that crazy if they charge you a 1% fee to send some money around the world. It's not that crazy. Specifically, these higher numbers of money. It's a huge amount. So then I think that I dropped something. Oh my days again. If you just do it for like a freaking portion of a cent, you can literally send that money around the world like 1,000 times a day without spending a cup of coffee. It's just really crazy to think about what Ripple's technology, for example, is also building here. That's just a little bit of a reminder for you guys, you know? Huge transfers on Ethereum takes some money. I guess if it's really, to do with the transfer here, we can look into it further. I didn't actually check everything out properly beforehand. If you're doing these contracts, or for example, sending something to Ava protocol, you can't really go around it, I guess. But you guys get the idea, right? Just very, very often, the money's just, you could have done it differently. And by the way, the money's not wasted for the ecosystem. It's wasted for you as an individual sending that money. That was what it was about. On that same note, I had one little tweet here. Okay, it's here. About that proof of work. Cardano ADA token distribution bashed by Block One CEO Brendan Bloomer. So this is the guy behind EOS, or at least one of the guys, and he responded to Charles Hoskinson, who said, as long as you hold the patent for the ASICs and government subsidies for your energy. That is, as Brendan first said, yes. Let's actually see the first. Let's go a little bit back here. Julia Charnley said, everybody gets to participate. It's the rules, but there's no rules, or there's no rulers. Talks about Bitcoin's maturity, forming the Bitcoin Mining Council, and having more onset dominance than early days of Facebook, Amazon, Google, and Apple. Michael Saylor said Bitcoin mining makes it superior long-term store of value, asset for institutions, and a powerful force driving the use of sustainable energy and the recycling of standard and wasted energy. He has some point. Brandon said, yes, proof of work is more than a consensus mechanism. It is an equitable distribution mechanism, and that one is where things get really interesting. Because this last part here actually refers to the fact that Bitcoin, the proof of work part is just, it's made that way, that it used a lot of electricity. It's annoying, but it's made that way because it was made that way. They never thought it would get this big. The proof of work, however, has two sides where it's partially consensus, so getting transactions arranged, and partially also to make sure that Bitcoins go around the world in an interesting and even fashion. If you take a look at Ripple, for example, the way they gave out the XRP was definitely not the best way possible. And Ethereum, another one I would say, is they could have definitely done it differently. They went for pre-sale. And actually, it's kind of funny how Ethereum is still proof of work. Then again, they had a sale at the start. We can discuss about that for a long time. But a lot of these cryptos which are in proof of work, they just don't really have a reward mechanism. Then again, you also have proof of stake, and that's where kind of the whole journey, I guess, kind of falls in. Now, there's basically debate back and forth about, or between Brendan and Cardano Charles Hoskinson. Because Charles was talking about the fact that as long as you hold the patent for the ASICs and government subsidies for your energy, then it's a good mechanism and then it's kind of worth it, right? But he says, how was the ADA token sale more equitable than proof of work? How long was the distribution period? How much awareness was there for participation throughout the full distribution period? How was it priced? Why do you think liquidity is so low relative to the market cap? And he's basically just attacking ADA. So once more, guys, this is the guy behind EOS. Not the main guy I actually thought. I thought it was a different guy. But he's behind the company behind EOS. Let's call it like that. That's a different crypto in the top list. It's going to be interesting how this is going to turn out here. Just the talks, and what do you guys think about it? Let me know in the comments down below. My thoughts? Well, I would say screw all of this. It doesn't really matter. I mean, this is discussion over nothing. Why worry about it? Are these things fair? I mean, not that many things really are fair, so I don't really care about that if you're honestly asking me. Is proof of work a system for distributing? Yes. Does it work properly? Yes. Could it be better? Of course. Does any one of these systems have it perfect just quite yet? No. So, whatever. Then, breaking news. Cnbc changes Ripple to XRP after CEO complains. A little bit of a strange title, because how would you change Ripple? But they did, though. It's basically CNBC always put up this little real-time chart, table, I guess I should call it, of different crypto metrics. And they always put Ripple to USD. Now, since Brett Garlinghouse explained a couple of days ago that that's not how it's supposed to be, they finally now fixed it. And by the way, it's not like this hasn't really happened before or anything like that. It's happened so ridiculously often that people misclassified XRP as being Ripple, sometimes potentially the other way around. But Brett Garlinghouse said honored that Ripple is included in this year's CNBC Disruptor 50 list. It's truly the most exciting time to work in crypto industry, and good news, Ripple is hiring. Thanks to Squawkbox and Andrew for having me on to chat about Ripple's traction, the differences between Ripple and XRP, and the need for regulatory clarity. On the second point, fixed your infographic for you, and that is basically, again, changing Ripple to USD to XRP to USD, which, by the way, they've been doing wrong for a very long while. And then Bank said, hope you have better luck getting them to understand Brett Garlinghouse. I've been correcting this for years now. I even made a GIF for them, which is Brett Garlinghouse telling this woman, yeah, it's called XRP, right, when they refer to those things like Ripple. Little Ripple, hey, a little Ripple merch that right there representing. That's pretty cool. So, but they did actually fix it, though. And Brett Garlinghouse replied, said, I'm doing my happy dance today, which I thought was pretty damn funny as well. That the CEO actually replied like that. That's pretty honoring, I would say. Not me, but still, I mean, to Bank, that's pretty cool. Moving on, let's see what else we had here. We have some other stuff. Governor of Sweden's central bank has suggested that Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies will be subject to regulation. This one wasn't too interesting, except for the fact that regulation in the crypto space is going to continue to expand. There's literally nothing pointing to the fact that it's going to stop. And one important point to kind of note down for yourselves that it might take a little bit of a negative turn at one point or another. Charles Hoskinson and almost any founder of any project will tell you, even though it might look good right now, it doesn't mean it's going to look good in the next 3 weeks, but it does also not mean it's not going to keep looking good in the next couple of months. Let me rephrase that. Whatever happens today doesn't have necessarily any meaning for tomorrow, because tomorrow everything could be different. But that does also not mean, though, is that what's going to happen in 1 month from now is going to be the same. Oh, I still am not explaining that properly. Let me give you the exact example of what's going to happen. We right now are in a good little period, right? Crypto's doing good. We could get some regulation tomorrow. We could get some regulation in 2 weeks. That does not mean, though, that crypto can never recover from these regulations, which might be negative, though, purely because something happened just now. We don't know how the regulations are going to be reversed, for example, in the future, or how people are going to react to it, and how things are going to just kind of fill itself out. China is a good example. Hong Kong is a good example, and India is a good example. Nigeria is a good example. 4 of those places all have changed their crypto regulations from being extremely bad to quite good in a very short amount of time. Why? Because they're trying to find out the best way to do these things as well, and also the people don't accept it. So whatever they do, people will still buy, sell, do anything. It just might make it a lot more annoying. And once more, any regulation of that degree is just a temporary annoyance. It will fix itself out, though. So I'm not worried about regulation. On the same sense, Biden wants to track cryptocurrency, but Bitcoin seems safe for now. There are any number of ways regulators may seek to clamp down on crypto. One of the things you must also know is that if you think you can get away by just keeping all your crypto in the background, I'm going to say it's most likely possible. If you really want to take a risk. A lot of things are most likely possible. The only problem is going to be when you want to spend it. It's the same thing with cash. Can you keep cash from any authority? Of course. Is it a smart idea to do? I'm going to say no. However, I'll let yourself be the judge of that. I'm no freaking lawyer, no freaking, I don't know, I'm not your dad, I'm not a financial advisor. I don't care what you do with your money. I'm just telling you, they're going to do more and more effort to make sure that every single transaction that you have ever done, every single wallet you have, is going to be linked to each other. They're going to try their best as time moves on. It's going to be getting better and better. Make sure you know that whatever you do right now might also have some influences on the future. I know that's kind of hypocritical to what I said a couple of minutes ago, but let me again kind of rephrase that or make it a little bit more clear, elaborate. Whatever transactions you're doing right now, if your main focus is on one wallet, you might want to kind of switch that up at one point or another, because they know your wallet, right? It's not that difficult to find, because a lot of people use the same one for a lot of different purchases, for example. It might all start to kind of stab you in the back eventually if you're trying to do some shady stuff, because, well, they might track everything at one point or another. They might really do some deep dive, deep digging, and work with exchanges to get that stuff handled. Make sure you understand that. I would personally always say, keep your wallets as private as private as humanly possible, and make sure you don't do any, illegal stuff. If you're going to make some huge transactions and the IRS tells you to, send it to them, the transaction you did, tell them. If you have any money in crypto, tell them, unless you really don't want to pay anything, but then don't come knocking on anybody's door if things go wrong, all right? It's a risk you're taking. Understand that. They might not come after you now. They might come after you in a couple of years. Is it worth the risk? Man, for me, it's not. I definitely don't think it's a smart idea. But then again, just letting you guys know, be careful with that type of stuff. They might find out new ways. For example, they're trying to crack Monero. Monero is a really popular cryptocurrency, a privacy coin. They might at one point or another crack it. How? I have no clue. Can they do it? I have no clue. I'm not a programmer like that. I have no idea how the exact privacy features work. I have no idea if they can actually inherently crack it, that the privacy is going to be gone. I don't know if it's officially just, not tracked and just not stored anywhere, or if it's encrypted. I have no idea how Monero works in that specific sense. I'm just going to be completely honest with you. Then again, hearing that makes you a little bit afraid. The fact that all those guys now that have done transactions a couple of years ago might still get effed in an A at one point or another because of a crack in the future. A good example of that is PGP or any Velcro chat. There's those chats basically which are quote-unquote encrypted. You might have done some chats a couple of years ago. If they crack your encryption service, you might still get messed up for stuff you said 7, 10, 5, pick something odd years ago, and you didn't think about it like that, right? You think, oh, okay, all the chats I did right now were safe. Boom, shakalaka. 5 years later, they find out it wasn't safe, and you're done for. Make sure you understand that. That was it. Then much hype. Meme coin Doge is finally on Coinbase Pro, or at least set for listing. The coin pumped. Didn't actually pump. Most articles are saying that it didn't actually do that amazing. But yes, Doge is officially now on its way to Coinbase Pro. Starting today. So, yeah, if you're a Doge fan, I guess that's pretty nice. For me, I don't really care. However, there's, of course, a niche for it, right? Wherever there's liquidity, there's a market for it. and they make money whether or not the price goes up or down, so they don't care. So yeah, guys, that was it for today's video. Also, one thing I actually forgot to mention now, which was actually the whole premise of the video. I should maybe just quickly go back on that one right now. Is the fact that there was a 1 billion XRP transfer. Where is it now, Dusty? Why aren't you not showing it? Because I have no idea where it is. Right? I might be able to find it if I keep scrolling through. However, it most likely already happened. It could happen in a couple of hours from now, to be honest with you. But it's really happening right now. There's one other thing I want to tell you in just a second. Now, as I've explained in the previous video, that transfer was done because Ripple gets 1 billion out of escrow every single month, and they're going to most likely put most of it back in. So don't get baited by all those articles that are going to be coming out. And the second one, I guess, the second thing I want to say is also, don't get baited by the articles that come out. A lot of people want to paint a really bad picture of the Tether and Tether Foundation. Why? Well, because some people say they can't really verify their stuff. Some people say they're scammers. Some people say they're just as bad as the US dollar. I would like to say, well, they're a solution to a really big problem that we had before. Here's a good example of a questionable thing. Now, here is 999 million Tether being taken out from Binance to the Tether Treasury. And then a little bit later, it's been put back in. The reason I'm saying it's debatable is because, well, maybe he messed up the order. Maybe something happened there. Or maybe, you know, people just get the wrong message when stuff like this happens and it's done elaborately. Or I'm not exactly sure why, but look at it from this perspective. This one gets a little bit of attention. 400 likes, 65 reactions and stuff like that. This one, where Tether is sending stuff to Binance, people are like, oh, this must be them selling it off, huh? Must be them doing all this, must be them doing all of that. It's really funny how people can paint the wrong or at least a completely different narrative. And here you can see actually all the XRP transfers out of escrow. As we already thought, 900 million got put back in. So here's what got taken out, right? Exactly 1 billion got taken out, 100 million here, 400 million here, and 500 million here. And then 300, 100, and 500 got put back in. So that is, again, a net increase of the XRP supply of 100 million. And that also means that Ripple now has 100 more million XRP to spend on stuff. What are they going to do with that? I have no idea, but now you know, now you know, now you know.